Hello and welcome to Model Dad's preview of Fate of a Nation, the Free Flames of War Arab-Israeli Intelligence Handbook that will be available in October's copy of Wargames Illustrated. I'm going to walk you through the 5 relevant articles in Wargames Illustrated before looking through the Intelligent Handbook itself without trying to spoil all of the content in next month's edition. October's Wargames Illustrated opens with a foreword from the guest editor, games designer Phil Yates. Phil comments that Fate of a Nation is Battlefront's first foray into the Arab-Israeli wars, note the plural, and focuses on the tank battles of the Six-Day War in June 1967. Over the page you can read about what's going to be happening on the Flames of War website in October, where we can look forward to Phil explaining some of the thoughts behind Fate of a Nation, whilst Chris Townley will show us how to paint an Israeli army quickly. Casey Davies will be sharing tips on building a United Arab Republic tank company, whilst Victor Pesch will provide a guide for the new Six-Day War decal packs. This is the first hint we have of the forthcoming releases scheduled for October to support Fate of a Nation. In addition to Arab, Jordanian and Israeli decals, you can expect IS-3Ms, T-54-55s, T-34-85Ms, Su-57-2 self-propelled guns, M48 Patton or Magak 2 and 3s, M51 Ishermans and M50 Shermans. Up next is a brief summary of the events leading up to the Six-Day War and, in case you're in need of a primer, an enlightening guide to the tanks of 67 by Dr. Michael L. McSweeney. Here you'll get a chance to feast your eyes on the new models scheduled, including the Centurion and an upgunned variant, the Shot. Over the page is a list of the full range of forthcoming Arab-Israeli box sets which, in addition to those already identified, will include AMX-13 light tanks, M3 TCM-20s, Israeli half-track stowage, an Israeli motorised infantry platoon with Belgian automatic FN-FAL rifles, FN-MAG LMGs, a 52mm light mortar, Belgian LL-83 blind-side bazookas, and the potent Makar anti-tank rifle grenades, giving FN-FAL teams a tank assault score of 4. There's also going to be an Egyptian mechanised infantry platoon, an HQ with AK-47 assault rifles, Belgian blind-side bazookas, Soviet RPD machine guns, and B-10 82mm recoilless guns. The Jordanians will also get a mechanised infantry platoon, and there will be air support from a Dassault Ouragan, a MiG-17, and token sets and objective markers for all. Next up is a useful overview by James Brown and Phil on painting the IDF, UAR and Jordanian armies, including their infantry and armoured vehicles. The prolific Phil returns for yet another piece, this time on the battlefields of the Six-Day War, where special rules and tables typical of the Gaza Strip, Sinai Desert and West Bank are laid out with reference to the battlefield in a box range. The eagle-eyed amongst you will spot the tasty reference to a new domed mosque with possibly a minaret. Coverage ends with Gavin Van Rossum outlining how the standard Flames of War missions can be used to recreate his 3 favourite encounters of the Six-Day War, but one can't help but be left thinking that this could have benefited from some maps and orders of battle. Bring back the scenarios! So, pausing for thought, we have the constituent elements of a typical, larger Flames of War intelligence briefing here: historical background, painting guides and table layouts. That gives you some idea of what Battlefront may have planned for the future. All that's missing are the army lists, so let's have a look at those. Fate of a Nation is a glossy bound 27-page intelligence briefing for the Arab-Israeli Six-Day War written by Phil Yates. It consists of generic armoured forces for Israel, the United Arab Republic and Jordan. That includes the confident veteran Israeli Pluga Tankim, confident conscripts of the UAR Kurtibar Daybaybar, Jordanians of the Suriyar Mudarah, all of which are supported by mechanised infantry, artillery and air power. Let's take a look at the listings themselves as well as the special and national rules, starting with the Israelis. Rated confident veteran, the Israeli tank company can field at least 2 platoons of between 2 to 4 tanks, depending upon whether they're the Shot, Centurion, Magak 2 or 3, M51 Isherman, M50 Sherman, M1 Super Sherman or an AMX-13, one of which must be the same as the HQ tank. Israeli tankers have special rules that reflect their training, like gunnery first, which enables them to re-roll failed hits at targets over 16 inches away. Israeli tanks also qualify for optional stabilisers, with the AMX-13 featuring an autoloader that alleviates a +1 to hit penalty when shooting on the move and enables a re-roll if stationary. Israeli infantry benefit from the automatic rifles and mounted assault special rules. Artillery has excellent communications, enabling platoon and second-in-command teams to spot in the same manner as a company command team, whilst under command negates the +1 penalty when spotting for platoons taken as combat or weapons choice. Israeli air superiority is reflected in the Operation Focus special rule, and as a fast mover these aircraft can evade anti-aircraft guns on a 5+. Tall flight stands ensure that aircraft must be placed within 6 inches of a target rather than the usual 4. Finally, IDF aircraft are equipped with napalm that uses a double width template, hits on a 6 with an automatic kill for anything other than a fully armoured vehicle. The Israeli special rules, a war of survival, few against many, every soldier is a leader and 24-hour battle, seek to reflect their superior morale, motivation, command and control by enabling them to re-roll failed platoon morale checks, move faster, replace lost command teams and attack at dawn or dusk. The arsenal follows with a useful table identifying the codes for the various models. The confident conscript tankers of the United Arab Republic must field at least 2 platoons of either 5 to 10 T-34-85s, T-55-54s or IS-3M tanks, one of which must be the same as the HQ tank. Armour has the following special rules: infrared searchlights which enhance visibility and lessen the chance of bogging in rough terrain at night, optional stabilisers on the T-54-55s enabling moving tanks to shoot at their full rate of fire with a +1 penalty if they have a rate of fire of 2 or more, and ta'ar, to obey or do voluntary, and Arabic hen and chicks. Mechanised infantry benefit from the recoilless guns, and the scout company, whilst not a recon platoon, takes advantage of the spearhead deployment special rule. Stationary Su-100s in the self-propelled anti-tank company may re-roll failed to hit rolls when shooting at teams more than 16 inches away. Despite their catastrophic losses, the Air Force is still able to put in an appearance and benefits from being a fast mover on a tall flight stand. UAR special rules of Al-Amam, Jabri, centralised control and quality of quantity seek to reflect socio-cultural attitudes and Soviet doctrine, enabling Egyptian platoons to move further, fight to the end without their officers, absorb a lot of damage and make large-scale assaults. The confident trained Jordanians must field at least 2 platoons of 2 to 3 Centurions or M48 patterns, one of which must be the same as the HQ tank. Unlike the Israelis and Egyptians, their HQ consists of 2 tanks. Centurions, like their Israeli counterparts, benefit from skirts, reed Schertzen with a stiff upper lip. Jordanian mechanised infantry, a rifle MG team supported by M20 Super Bazooka and a light mortar team, but no LMG or HMG options. The Jordanian special rules remain similar to their Arabian cousins, but without the doctrinal influence of the Soviet Union. Instead, as Jordanian Lions, they may re-roll their motivation to counterattack in assaults for those platoons that failed. Fate of a Nation gives you a taste of what's to come and, like Rising Sun, demonstrates Battlefront's unceasing commitment to extend Flames of War into new theatres and periods. For the cost of Wargames Illustrated, you get 3 flavours of armour and mechanised infantry to have a good old dust-up with. If this isn't enough and Fate of a Nation has whetted your appetite for all things Arab-Israeli, but you're too impatient to wait, go download the very professionally produced, comprehensive and entirely unofficial 6-Day War PDFs by Daniel McCoy at his blog Broke Low. Now, what more incentive do you need to break out your buff, dark sand and green grey and get all cyanide on your AVs? Enjoy.